This is officially my first video in my new flat, and if you're wondering why I'm talking like this, it's because I've damaged my voice. I was at a wedding, I was talking really loudly, I then had this thing that I was doing the next day, I was singing, it was a lot, and now it just hurts all the time. So I've been resting it as much as possible, but the vibe in this video is going to be a little toned down compared to normal. It's really annoying as well because my doctor has just said, wait and rest and it'll get better. But it's already been 2 weeks. He said to rest it for 2 more weeks. And I'm just like, surely there's a better way to do this. Like, I'm buying all the remedies to try and make this thing better right now because I need my voice for the next COD game coming out in 3 weeks. But apparently I just need to not talk for like a month. Can't avoid doing my job, so here we are. The story today is that Advanced Warfare, which came out in 2014, is getting a sequel in 2025. So there will have been an 11-year gap between those games. At face value, this sounds absolutely insane. It doesn't sound real. And so you've got the proponents of this story, the breaker actually of the story is RoflWaffles, who is pretty consistent, I think, with the stuff that he's leaked. He gives me the impression as being one of the leakers that is fairly reliable, I would say. Then again, I don't really keep up with the leak scene that much at all, but just an impression. But then on the other hand, you have people who are maybe detractors or maybe just urging caution with this sort of thing, such as, interestingly, Charlie Intel. So Ralph put out this news, and Charlie then tweeted out about an hour later saying, lots of rumors overnight, be careful what you believe. Salute. And it's interesting because on the whole, certainly in the past, Charlie Intel were usually a really good temperature gauge for when a leak was wrong. They would basically tweet out saying, this is insane. But when a leak was right, they kind of wouldn't say anything. Like, I'm talking years and years ago. Charlie Intel's been very different on Twitter of late, so I don't want to necessarily apply that to the current kind of time period. But it's interesting that Charles' intelligence over there is urging caution, while Ralph is saying, it's Advanced Warfare 2, guys. Supposedly, the reason for this is you've got Call of Duty Vanguard, which is Sledgehammer's current present COD title, which has been received so badly that it's forced Sledge to cancel all the plans that they previously had to extend the characters, the universe, just the overall kind of story of Vanguard. And they had a lot of plans. When they were originally developing this game, they intended for the Vanguard IP to last multiple COD titles. And that's, remember, off the back of the success of Call of Duty World War II, which did sell really, really well. And so they probably thought, well, it's going to do the same thing here, but this time we're going to go in with a plan to make it last longer. It turns out that Sledgehammer didn't last very long at all. There's a joke in there somewhere. So even though Advanced Warfare came out pretty much 1,000 years ago at this point, or at least it feels that way, it's the next logical jump where they could present it to a board of directors who would then say, yeah, I guess, and they'd just have it signed off without too much resistance or hassle compared to pitching a completely new project, which is what they would have done with Vanguard, that's then turned out really badly. This does mean that, as of right now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to last for 2 years, so it's going to be 2022 to 2023. Then we're supposedly going to be getting premium DLC in 2023 that will carry over to 2024, and we'll talk about that again in a second. And then in 2024, after a year break, or a year of more Modern Warfare 2 content, unlike any other COD year we've had in the past, we would then get our Treyarch COD with the return of Return Of Exo Zombies, God bless. And that would then mean, I suppose, that we'd be back to yearly CODs from 2024 onwards because we'd have this game coming out in 2025. So it tells us that there are no plans to extend the duration of Treyarch's next game, which I think is maybe unfortunate, but also yearly CODs aren't necessarily a bad thing. Now then, let's talk about that premium DLC thing. There was another rumor overnight that there was going to be premium DLC for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which will contain a bunch of the old Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer maps. And that would be Call of Duty's kind of answer to what they did previously in the past with Zombies Chronicles. You guys will remember in Black Ops 3, they did the Chronicles map pack. It's got old classic Zombies maps, and it was the best-selling downloadable content on PSN ever at the time. It was a really big deal. It made them a boatload of money, and it made the fans really, really happy. And so it might make sense for someone to say, you know what? I think they're going to make a premium map pack for Modern Warfare 2, bring back old classic maps, do the exact same thing they did with Chronicles, and that's going to be how they fill in the gap in 2023 when there's no mainline COD release. We know there's going to be some kind of premium content, but it's not going to be an actual game. It's just going to be DLC. If Advanced Warfare comes back in 2025, that means that we're going to be getting Exo Zombies 2. Maybe, at least. There's always a chance that they just don't do that and they do some other kind of new thing or something. But Exo Zombies was pretty well received at the time. I did a full story breakdown of it.
Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Why exactly Atlas might want them to go to the island and have to dig and all that jazz is currently unknown. It's completely unclear why those particular events transpiring would be beneficial for Atlas, why they would want them to go to the island and have to dig and then go through the other steps in the egg.
It was like 17 minutes long, which is hilarious compared to the 10-hour plus videos that you'll see popping up for Treyarch Zombies here and there. But it had a story, it was interesting, I was into it, it had fantastic cutscenes for the time. Whatever studio they hired to make those cutscenes did a phenomenal job. It had some pretty cool actors in it, and overall, it wasn't awful. I don't think it was the best thing we've ever experienced by any means, but I'd certainly put it above Vanguard Zombies, and I'd probably put it above World War II Zombies as well. I don't think it was Infinite Warfare level, but it was decent, and I'd be super curious to see what they would do with those sorts of ideas now, when tech has evolved obviously a lot more since 2014, remember? That's the year before Black Ops 3, and they were still really focusing on last gen at the time. It was on new gen, but they weren't really making use of a lot of the new gen features. So we're a whole console generation ahead of that now, and the potential for that is pretty massive in my opinion. So that could be quite exciting. Exo Zombies coming back, maybe, or maybe just a fresh take on the Zombies formula in an advanced setting with all this new hardware tech, all this new capability, and all these new devs, I'm sure as well. Since 2014, a lot of that team will have moved on. So it's going to be fresh talent coming in, giving their new ideas, and making things that fit kind of the modern gaming landscape. So let me know what you think. Are you excited about this or not? I'll try and keep making videos at a semi-regular basis when my voice heals, but they're going to be few and far between because I don't want to damage it any further. Thanks for being patient with me today. Sorry it's a little weird.